Okay, welcome back to another MTGO League, this time with Temur Footfalls. It's been a deck that I've been trying out a little bit just off camera, and really quite enjoying it. It's a very sort of tempo based deck, which is really fun. If you haven't seen it before, it's running loads of cascade spells and no spells under CMC 3 in order to cascade into Crashing Footfalls every time. But for that, you make up for the inability to run cheaper spells by running things like Brazen Borrower, Force of Negation, Bone Crusher Giant, Subtlety, things like Fire Ice, things like that that get around the CMC restriction, but also allow you to do things early in the game. And then you've got some pretty sort of standard sideboard stuff as well. So this list taken straight from the Modern Challenge winner on Saturday. Can't remember the exact modo name, but I'll link the deck list in the description below. So do check that out. And yeah, a special mention today. Thank you to everyone that subscribed. Have hit 3 digits, up over 100 subscribers now. So thank you very much for that. And if this content is something you're enjoying and you are not subscribed, please do consider doing so. Play a lot of sort of mid-range content, style content on this channel. So yeah, and as usual, let us know in the comments if there's anything you like, dislike, etc. Okay, so let's get into this round number 1. Yeah, we'll keep this. This is it's good. It's got some early interaction in the form of Bone Crusher Giant, Brazen Borrower, and it's got a turn 3 Violent Outburst, which is what we want. Worth mentioning, there is another version of this deck which goes 4 colour, so you get Ardent Plea as well. Ooh, okay. So looking like Lantern Control, not something you see every day. Okay, so I'll get the Ketria Triome here. We want to save this Brazen Borrower for an Ensnaring Bridge, really. Okay, another Bone Crusher Giant, not too bad. I'll probably use this. Chalice on 0. Okay, so we do have the Brazen Borrower for that. Pixis, sure. Okay. So yeah, what we're going to do here is we'll return the Chalice to my opponent's hand, and then we will play a land. And how likely do you think our opponent is to be playing Force? I think we're just going to go for this now in case my opponent's running something like Counterspell. I doubt they are, because they don't want to have to keep cards in hand for Ensnaring Bridge. But we get our Rhinos down, so I'd imagine there'll be another Chalice on 0. Inquisition, they get to take a Bone Crusher Giant. So yeah, probably see Chalice on 0 again. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Sure. Okay, we draw another Cryptic, which isn't amazing, but we do get to crash him for 8 here. Yeah, we could cast Bone Crusher here, but we can cast Brazen Borrower with Flash anyway. So, opponent looking for a way to get Ensnaring Bridge, I think. Okay, they find the Lantern. So we're finding Shardless Agent. Not the best draw. But we do get to I mean, we are representing lethal here. Okay, and we get there. So yeah, Brazen Borrower just deals with anything. A lot of decks are siding in, or even that was in the main Chalice of the Void, just for this matchup, which is this deck's become quite popular. Okay, so we're not going to want subtlety in this. This doesn't do too much, but we want all of our Force of Vigors. And then, what else do we want? We don't really want Fury. We may want the Mystical Disputes. Fire Ice, I think, is okay. Endurance is interesting. I'll bring in one Dispute. We want Cryptics, we want the Forces. Bone Crusher Giant actually could be cut. Let's maybe shave a couple of Bone Crusher Giants for another couple of Mystical Disputes. Let's go with that. I could see Endurance because our opponent is trying to mill us out, but once they've established the lock, it's pretty hard to get out of anyway. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. Okay, we're going to keep this. This is pretty good. We got the Gemstone Caverns. We got Force as well. Yeah, we'll keep. I think, yeah, we'll put the Gemstone Caverns onto the field, and then I think we'll ditch the Force of Vigor. Yeah, we can't actually cast that at the moment. I think we will. Are we forcing that? Yeah, I think so. Fire Ice is. Otherwise, my opponent just takes the Violent Outburst. And then we're left with. Yeah, we've got some decent spells, but. Brutality, maybe? That'd be quite annoying. Yeah. Okay. Maybe we shouldn't have forced that Thoughtseize. We can draw another one here, though. Okay, that's not that great. We'll suspend it, though. Pass the turn. Okay, wouldn't mind finding blue land here. Opponent's got one card in hand. Obviously, okay, yeah, Brazen Borrower will take. Yeah, we'd like to find a Cascade thing, really. Ensnaring Bridge, sure. Okay. So we don't want to Brazen Borrower that yet because we need to wait until we're sure of a blue land so that we can counter it on the way back down. Okay. So drawing a load of 4 mana spells isn't great here. Would like that island off the top, really. Opponent mills a Chalice, which is quite good for us. Another bridge would be pretty bad. 4 mana. Oh, is this Whir of Invention? Okay. Can't do anything about it, unfortunately. Okay, so we're happy to draw the Scalding Tarn. Opponent knows we've got the Cryptic. Wouldn't be surprised if our opponent milled our land here. Fire Ice. Okay, so I think we're going to want to tap something at the end of our opponent's turn in order to draw a card. Okay, yeah, we're happy to get rid of Cryptic. Okay, so now we want to draw this land, so we're going to Fire Ice right now. So yeah, we'll just tap my opponent's thing. We'll draw our land. So we know what my opponent's drawing. We are going to get to put some rhinos onto the field. Okay, Codex Shredder. Opponent's drawing Thoughtseize. We get to make some rhinos here. Drawing another fetch land isn't too bad. We're gonna slam Jace here. Jace is an alternate way to win, despite our opponent having the ability to mill us out. Okay, so we're drawing Jace. Do we just start ticking up is the question. Or do we want to try and draw a card? I don't think we care. My opponent's drawing Thoughtseize, but I don't think that matters. Maybe we do Brainstorm. I think I'm going to tick up in case my opponent's running something like a Lightning Bolt or an Ensnaring Bridge. Do we want to put Thoughtseize on the bottom? We kind of do want these two cards. So, yeah, I think we can put Thoughtseize on the bottom there. We want to save our Brazen Burrow and our Cryptic. Okay, that's a little bit unfortunate that my opponent... Ooh, Force of Vigor would would be pretty nice. Okay, Force of Negation is really good as well because yeah, essentially what we're trying to do is we're going to try and bounce. Okay, our opponent draws the Thoughtseize, find another Lantern. So we're going to try and, yeah, what we were going to try and do is bounce the Ensnaring Bridge and then counter it on the way back down. But that's not looking likely now. Okay, so our opponent's got the kind of lock, but they can't stop us interact. They can't interact with Jace very well. They might try and mill us here. Okay, so we'll put, I think we'll put this and a Brazen Borrower back. Oh, that was a mistake. I did forget there that our opponent can yeah, I did forget there that our opponent can mill Brazen Borrower. Yeah, that was silly. But we do have another one. Okay, our opponent's finding Urza's Saga, which is okay. Okay, so what we're going to do is we'll bounce the Ensnaring Bridge, and then we've got the Force of Negation as well. We can actually cast Violent Outburst as well, which might just be lethal. So let's bounce the Ensnaring Bridge. Okay, and then yeah, I think we just Violent Outburst here. Make some more rhinos, put my opponent to 2. Yeah, we've got 16 power, which is pretty good. We can force the bridge on the way back down. Should be the win here. Oh yeah, okay, so we've just got Bone Crusher Giant as well, so we can just stomp my opponent, and that should be lethal. Attacking in for 16 here and being able to stomp is pretty good. Opponent's got just Ensnaring Bridge in hand. Can't see any way out of it from our opponent, and they agree. So a good win there. Slight mess up with putting Brazen Borrower back, but we did have another one. Jace was obviously amazing again in this matchup. So yeah, good to get the win. Let's see you for the next round. Right, round number 2. I think this is fine. It's got some free spells in it. It's got some anti, we can bounce anything we want. We can counter a creature or a planeswalker that we don't want to hit the field. And then we've got two cascade spells, so hopefully this will be good. Right, so we could consider subtletying this. What do we think? I think that's actually potentially fine. We don't want our opponent going off with this. Although we have to subtlety now, otherwise we've got a borrower for a Murktide Regent. This does fly. Do we want to subtlety it? Yeah, I think we're okay. So we'll exile the other subtlety and shove that on the top of my opponent's deck. I don't know if that's right. I think we'll find out. But otherwise, next turn my opponent gets so much card selection. Okay, they've put it on the top. Not really what we wanted to see there. But okay, I think we'll put that on suspend. Go grab a Stomping Ground potentially here, I think, and then that can go and get Breeding Pool. We could get Basic Forest and then Steam Vents, which would cast all our spells. Yeah, I don't think we want to be shocking too much. Basic Forest, Steam Vents, that lets us do everything. Yeah, I think that's fine. Don't want to be taking too much damage from our lands here. So my opponent will probably lead with Dragon's Rage Channeler. Okay, so we could do with finding... Okay, another land is really good there. So we're going to go and get Steam Vents anyway, so now we could potentially go and just grab a basic. So we could consider bouncing this again. I don't hate that. I think we'll let my opponent do something here. Do we want... I think we're going to, I think we're just going to try and tempo my opponent out. Return that to my opponent's hand, and then, we're still at 19 life. There's the Channeler again. I suppose our opponent is representing Counterspell. So what we'll do is we'll just play out the gemstone caverns, and then yeah, if my opponent does anything here, we'll cast Violent Outburst. If they don't, I think we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what they do here. They might be on a more kind of controlling build. Brazen Borrower can block this, which is nice. So yeah, we'll go for the Violent Outburst now. Oh, I messed up. Oh, I've met. Oh no, that's fine. Thought I'd got the wrong colour lands, but no, we're good. So yeah, we'll cast a Footfalls here. Opponent may have Counterspell. They don't run too many of that type of effect. And then we have Childless Agent as well. So here's a Counterspell. Okay, opponent gets to Surveil 1. So we're punished here if my opponent has exactly Counterspell again. So we will go for this. You know, if my opponent has another Counterspell, then fine. Like, you know, they got us. But yeah, I think we have to go for that there. Yeah, nice to have that resolve. And we've potentially got another Crashing Footfalls coming down next turn. Opponent also running Petty Theft, which is annoying to deal with our rhinos. But we do still have 6 power on the field. Opponent put a Ragavan in their graveyard. So we are still a little bit afraid of Murktide Regent. Oh, another Petty Theft is annoying. See what else our opponent has. 2 mana. Yeah, it is a Murktide Regent, which is scary. So let's see what we can do. So we'll go and get the Triome here. We are making more rhinos. Okay, we find Subtlety, which isn't the worst draw. Okay, we can't really attack, I don't think. Can we attack? If we attack with... Oh no, we can't attack with these rhinos anyway. So yeah, we won't attack. We will play out the Steam Vents. Obviously we don't want to be subtletying a Brazen Borrower for our opponent. We don't want to return that to our opponent's hand. Okay, so our opponent bolts our Shardless Agent, which is fine. Opponent did leave something on top. May see an attack here. No attacks. Okay, so let's cast this Brazen Borrower. Okay, opponent plays their own Brazen Borrower. More land is not really what we want to see. So we can't attack with our Brazen Borrower. we could attack with these, but then we lose one to Murktide Regent. I think we want to just hold here. We will trade off our Brazen Borrower. A bit surprised they get rid of an Unholy Heat there. So this subtlety we should probably keep to potentially block, to potentially deal with a Murktide Regent. Although we could. Okay, so we're going to trade this for the Dragon's Rage Channeler. It's providing my opponent with a lot of card selection. Okay. Violent Outburst would be nice. Okay, I think we're fine with that. We don't want to subtlety it because it'll let my opponent bounce a Rhino. Okay, oh, that's a nice draw. So yeah, so what we'll do is we'll that does yeah, okay, so we can borrow this with these two lands and then hold up subtlety for the Murktide again. Yeah, okay. So we'll go to combat here and we will attack with everything. See if our opponent wants to make a block. They probably block with Murktide. Okay, so we'll borrow this, paying with the Gemstone Caverns. Okay, opponent goes to 4, and then we'll play a Gemstone Caverns and keep the untapped one, and then we have subtlety up. So yeah, so we know that our opponent has Murktide Regent in hand. We probably will try and subtlety that. Obviously a hit from these Rhinos is lethal next turn. There's a Bauble. Bauble's me. We do have this flyer as well. Yeah, so we're going to subtlety this because it gets rid of a lot of stuff from my opponent's graveyard. I think, yeah, we go for this here. If my opponent has counter spell, that's very annoying. But it looks like they don't. Okay, they've put Murktide on the bottom. It's another Murktide. It is another Murktide Regent. Okay. Which is an 8/8. But I think that's okay. I think we're still okay here. Because we attack with everything. So if we attack with everything, our opponent blocks a Rhino, blocks here. Yeah, we can just attack with everything there. It's worth taking a little bit of time to figure out exactly if we can do it. But we attack with everything. My opponent has a free block on a Rhino, and then they can't. Each one of these is lethal. So yeah, we're fine. Okay, so get the win versus Murktide there. What do we want? I think we potentially want Disputes. We potentially want an Anger of the Gods. What don't we want? Bone Crusher seems good. Force of Negation. I don't think they run. They run lots of. They run lots of spells, but I don't think we care about any of them that aren't creatures. We'll get rid of Jaces. We do care about things like Expressive Iteration. We could bring in Endurance to try and stop my opponent having their graveyard full. We'll bring in a couple of Mystical Disputes. I think we can take out Forces. Maybe a couple. Bring in some Mystical Disputes. What other creatures? Our opponent did show us Ragavan, and I think we do want the Anger of the Gods. So I'd consider Dispute. Endurance is possible. Obviously we don't want Blood Moon. Fire Ice is fine. Subtlety was good there. Let's try that. I suppose we could consider cutting a Cryptic, especially in the face of my opponent's counterspells and potential disputes as well. But I think it's fine. I think we'll keep this as well. It's got a couple of cantrips that can also kill things. It's got a sort of answer to Murktide Regent. Yeah, Ragavan is on the play is really not what we wanted to see from our opponent. Okay, another Bone Crusher. Do we want to hold up Dispute here, or do we want... No, let's suspend a Footfalls, I think. Go get Breeding Pool. I think our next turn is definitely going to involve Bone Crushering the Ragavan. Our opponent does get to hit him with it for a turn. Yeah, the one one downside of this is obviously that's annoying to exile that, but at least our opponent can't play it. I want, can they suspend it for green mana? No. Okay, Fire Ice is obviously going to be insane here. I don't think Fire Ice on the stack counts as a blue spell, so I wouldn't be afraid of Force here. So I'll play this. Yeah, we'll just fire 1 damage here, 1 damage here. So we're doing this at sorcery speed. Opponent does have Spell Pierce. Yeah, we wanted to play around as much as possible, like counterspell. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So opponent hasn't drawn a land. We do have another Fire Ice. I guess we want them to not have a way of getting Delirium here. I wonder if they have another Spell Pierce. We could do it. We could really do with drawing a land. Oh, that island would have been perfect. Yeah, we really want to draw an untapped land here. Oh, Violent Outburst is not what we want. So we could consider tapping, but I think what we want to do here is we'll just go for Fire Ice in my opponent's. Yeah, we'll do it in my opponent's upkeep, so at least they can potentially not, if they want to Spell Pierce again, Ether Gust. Yeah, we're just getting kind of tempoed out here, unfortunately. Sadly, we have to put that on the bottom. This is now a 3/3 as well. Put it on the bottom. We need to draw lands. We have got some rhinos coming in a couple of turns' time, but we are taking 5 damage. Cryptic. Okay, well, we didn't want to draw that. What's my opponent going for here? Ooh, EE with no colours is pretty pretty rough. Is this Murktide as well? If it is, we concede. We can't beat that, unfortunately. Yeah, this is looking like Murktide Regent, which will lead to a concession. Yep, we will concede there. Is there any way we can get out of this? See what we draw. So we have drawn the land. So we Bone Crusher this. We're taking 6. Yeah, I mean, we can't come back from that. Sadly, yeah, Ragavan doing a big number on us there. And yeah, opponent with the the well-timed spell Pierce and Ether Gust. Okay, so if they're bringing in that kind of stuff, I think we are going to want the Mystical Dispute. Fury is interesting for the early things. Maybe that is good enough. 4 damage. What do we cut for it though, I guess, is the question. I think we can take out Force here. Let's go another Force for a Fury. Yeah, just the potential ability to blow our opponent out is... And this can't be Spell Pierced or Force of Negation or Mystical Disputed. So yeah, we'll go first here. 2 lands and a Crashing Footfalls. Does have a Violent Outburst as well. Yeah, I think we can keep this. It's got a way to deal with a Ragavan. We're not going to suspend the Rhinos. Going to play the Triome because we really want to find... Ideally, we find an untapped land for Outburst on turn 3. Opponent's mulliganed. So yeah, we'll just lead on a Triome here. And then if our opponent has a turn 1 creature, we will stomp it. Oh, Chalice as well. That's a lot of hate coming this deck's way at the moment. Not to be I suppose it is to be expected. So we'll go ahead and stomp the Channeler. So we can win in other ways, obviously. We can Bone Crusher our opponent to death. Oh, that's a poor draw. So we'll fetch. We'll just play about Bone Crusher Giant. Don't think... So we've got all of our colours. I think we'll just go and get an island to potentially... have Cryptic up in a couple of turns, because obviously that does let us bounce the Chalice. Okay, counterspell, sure. Two mana, Ragavan with dash. Yeah, drawing both our Crashing Footfalls isn't amazing here. Okay, Bone Crusher Giant. Opponent can't play that. So yeah, ideally I suppose what we're going to hit is a land, then we can hold up Cryptic, potentially bounce Chalice. Or Borrower would definitely be acceptable here. Obviously also holding up Bone Crusher to kill another dashed Ragavan next turn is pretty good. 2 blue mana. Okay, so our opponent does get that, which is relatively annoying. Okay, so we've got a wooded foothills here. I think we're just going to pass. And then at the end of my opponent's turn, we may try and bounce Chalice. This is just Bone Crusher Giant. Sure. Okay. Oh, should have. Okay. Oh no, we can't do anything. So that's a Steam Vents. Okay, Ragavan. That's fine. So yeah, we'll just go and grab a forest. And we'll Cryptic, return target permanent to its owner's hand, and draw a card. And then we'll make some rhinos. Wouldn't mind finding, yep, land is really good here. Oh, another Cryptic as well. So we'll play the land. I think we'll just fetch now and then ensure we can hold stuff up. So if we go and get another island, we can go island, we'll be holding up. Okay, so let's go grab an island. We'll outburst. Cast the Footfalls. And then we will stomp Ragavan as well, doing all this at sorcery speed to play around Spell Pierce and Counterspell. And then we have got another Cryptic in hand. If we can untap here, that's obviously very good for us. So, one of the cards in my opponent's hand is Chalice of the Void. Looking like that's that coming down again. Okay, land. Fury, eh? We could actually just hard cast that. How much do we want to just hard cast Fury? Is that our ability? No. I think we can just hardcast Fury here. Get in for 8 this turn, and then we've got a double striking Fury as well. And this can't be it can't be forced, it can't be spell pierced. Okay, we'll just deal 4 damage to Bone Crusher Giant. And then attack. This card is interesting. Puts the opponent to 7. Yeah, Chalice stops the Mishra's Bauble. Unholy Heating one of our rhinos. Unholy Heating another rhino. We draw another Footfalls, which is one of the worst draws. But we do get to attack my opponent for 6 here. Wonder if our opponent didn't realise that Fury had double strike. Maybe we should have, well, we could have played Bone Crusher there. Don't know, maybe holding up Cryptic's better. This is going to be Murktide. So I think we'll go for countering this. Counter target spell, draw a card. My opponent has Spell Pierce. That is annoying. Okay, they don't. We get there. So I could see an argument for playing Bone Crusher there. Maybe that was better. Let me know if you would have made the Bone Crusher play. But yeah, happy with that game. See you for the next round. Okay, round number 3. It's going to be on the draw. I think this is a mulligan. 2 footfalls in your opener is not really what we want. Sadly, this is going to be another mulligan. We'll keep this. It's not amazing. I think we'll get rid of a subtlety and 1 fire ice. And then we can we'll suspend crashing footfalls on 1. Gonna need to find another land and a cascader, but it's not too bad. There's this tower. Our hand's not too bad against Tron. I'll just lead on this. Obviously we don't know what flavour of Tron it is. Could be Eldrazi, could be regular. Sphere, that's fine. I think what we'll end up doing is tapping down our opponent's... Oh, that's a good draw. Especially since we've drawn that, we'll probably... yeah, in my opponent's upkeep, I think we're going to tap their power plant. Go grab breeding pool. So we'll tap the tower, because it makes most mana. Then we get to draw a card as well. Hopefully find a land. We do have force up. Okay, looks like our opponent doesn't have a land. So their hand is probably Sylvan Scrying. Land would be really good. Oh, that's a shame. Okay, pass it to them. Okay, so we've got force, which we will use on a Sylvan Scrying here. We could have considered bouncing that, but I don't think that's what we want to be doing. Yeah, we're going to force that. So I think at the moment we can just get rid of Cryptic. When are our rhinos coming down? Okay, so we've got 2 turns before the rhinos come down. Okay, we find a land, that's really nice. So I can actually find an outburst. Oh, opponent finds Tron. Okay. Might tick up. No, so we're just going to violent outburst here. Okay, so we lose a land. We do get to kill Khan. Okay, Fire Ice is pretty good actually. So we'll... do we want to kill Khan here? So if we attack with these 2, we put our opponent to 12. If we attack with just 1, we put them to 16, but that is still lethal next turn. Yeah, I think we are gonna kill Khan. I think that's correct. And then in my opponent's upkeep, we'll tap down the tower again. Just because we don't want them to be able to Oblivion Stone. Mind a force. Okay, so that reduces the amount of mana available, and we get there. Okay, nice sort of tempo victory there. Seeing off the Tron Menace. See what we want to bring in from the side. So potentially Force of Vigor, and definitely Blood Moon. Subtlety is probably fine. Bone Crusher doesn't do too much for us. So our opponent could be running Chalice in the side. I think we can... so we'll start out by taking out some Bone Crushers, bringing in Blood Moons. That's fine. Fire Ice was really good there. Cryptic is okay. I think we'll bring in a Force. Do we want the Disputes? Probably not. I think Cryptic's probably a little bit expensive. What makes it on Force? I guess if they're on Khan, the Great Creator. It's Dispute versus Force, I think. Force does deal with map turn 1. Let's get rid of another let's get rid of the Cryptics on the draw. Bring in Force. Couple of Forces. We'll leave them on Cryptic. I think we'll go with that. If anyone's seen anyone that's written a sideboard guide for this deck, please do point me in the direction. Kind of just making it up as I go here, but that's good to get the practice in. Let's see what we can do on the draw against Tron. Okay, so we're going to keep this. We can spend this, and then we've got an answer to several things my opponent's doing. Okay, so they're playing map, so we could either force that, as in Force of Negation, or we could force a Vigor to destroy it. I think we're going to err on Force of Vigor. We'll see if we can wait and see what we draw and do it in my opponent's upkeep. Okay, Brazen Borrower. I think it's important to do that. Just need to that gets rid of that and does take our opponent off. Okay, I think we are going to force that and just try and keep our opponent off Tron for as long as we can. We have to get rid of 4 cards to do that. But we only need 1 Cascader, really. Get the Triome there. Okay, that was incorrect. I think we possibly should have Brazen Borrowed to return it to my opponent's hand. Okay, opponent. So we'd like to draw a Violent Outburst, please. Okay, Misty Rainforest, not really what we want. We will flash in a Brazen Borrower here, I think. Okay, our opponent finds Tron anyway. Gonna go an island. Okay, not drawing so hot. This can only do things our opponents control. Yeah. Not sure what our opponent has in hand. I think we're going to go for just Brazen Borrower Beatdown. And then we'll fetch. I think we're just going to go a Forest. In case we draw a Blood Moon. Our opponent's got enough mana to cast Ugin or whatever. Or another Misty Rainforest isn't what we want to see. I mean, this is 2 turns. No idea what our opponent has here. What on earth do they have in hand? We've drawn nothing but lands. I mean, they are potentially dead next turn. Peatland. Oh, they must have green cards in hand, of course. Okay, so an opponent misses. Okay, so we just get there with that one. Yeah, opponent must have had a hand stuffed full of green cards that they couldn't cast, and our Brazen Borrowers get there. That's the way it goes sometimes, but we're 3-0. see you again for round number 4. Right, we would like to play first, and I think this is okay. So we've got, weirdly this would be better on the draw, but we've got the ability to draw an extra card for the turn 3 footfalls, because we're obviously going to have to find a green land. Okay, there it is. So I think what we'll do, yeah, we're going to ice here. So what we can do is, in my opponent's upkeep, we'll just tap their Urza's Mine. Yeah, we're just going to get Breeding Pool here. Tap Urza's Mine so they can't search. This should take them off Tron for an extra turn. Subtlety is not a bad draw as well. Oh, Chalice. Okay, well we have the Cryptic for that. Okay, double map. Okay, so that is a little bit annoying. Oh, did I get there in time? No, I should have cast Bone Crusher Giant there, I think. So this is probably Eldrazi Tron. So yeah, I think we're just going to stomp. Okay, so we can now hold up Cryptic Command and Subtlety. Opponent is going to get to complete Tron here. They don't search, which is a bit odd at the end of their turn. Not sure what my opponent's got in hand. So yeah, I think we'll return the Chalice. Return Chalice, draw a card here, then we get to make some rhinos. Might as well do it in my opponent's turn. Okay, so they are searching. Could be Cavern of Souls, could be... Nope, they do go and get Tron. So let's see. So do we want to tap their tower here? I think so, actually. We'll tap my opponent's tower, which they'll probably use for map. Then we will use Subtlety if... Okay, so we'll go ahead and rhinos here. And then we've got Subtlety for a Khan the Great Creator, if my opponent has it. Oh, Warping Whale. Okay, that's really... could I have played around that somehow? Potentially. Opponent's got 4 cards in hand. The Smasher? Okay, so do we want to Subtlety this? We'd have to get rid of the Fire Ice. And we will be able to... No, I think that's fine, because we'll take a hit for 5 here. Okay, so yeah, that's why my opponent wasn't tapping out. I see. Okay. Okay, so that was a little bit of an... I missed that. So we've drawn a Jace. So we could play double Bone Crusher, which was the plan, or we could play Jace, bounce the Reality Smasher, and then subtlety it on the way back down. I think we're just going to play double Bone Crusher. That blocks Reality Smasher pretty well. Unless our opponent's found something like Dismember. Thought not here. Oh, shouldn't have yielded there. Probably wanted to subtlety that one. So yeah, we'll double block. Yeah, probably should have subtlety there, and then we could have jaced it to the bottom. Opponent got 2 cards in hand. Bit surprised they didn't choose to tech edges. Oh, I've messed this one up. Why was I yielding? I thought I'd turned that off. Okay, yeah, that was a mistake. So we can't Violent Outburst, sadly. Okay, so we can, if we Jace, we can't do anything else. So if we Jace return this, we could then block the Smasher. I think we have to kill the Khan. So let's kill Khan. And then no point in Jacing, but we could tap Smasher. Yeah, I think we'll tap Smasher. I mean, obviously my opponent could find another Smasher here. Okay, so we will tap this. We do have to pay extra for it. And we do have to discard a card. But Violent Outburst, not the best at the moment. Okay, Cryptic's not a bad draw. Yeah, I messed up that turn by auto passing, which is a bit silly. Blast Zone. Okay. Plays the Blast Zone. So a Smasher Ugin. I think we have to stop that. So we have to unfortunately pay 3. What do we exile? I think we'll get rid of... If we get rid of Cryptic, we can then Jace, uptick, get rid of the Ugin, block with Bone Crusher. Yeah. And then hope my opponent doesn't find anything else. Opponent does only have 1 card in hand. So put it on top. Yeah, a few errors here, but we're still in it. Okay, another subtlety isn't actually too bad. So we could play Jace, uptick, make sure my opponent doesn't draw the thing, but actually I think now we can afford to just subtlety. Hopefully our opponent will make the slight error of casting Ugin first. I mean, it does give them potentially lethal, but we get to then subtlety, put it on top again, and yeah, this is much better. Obviously that gives our opponent the chance to get lethal there. If our opponent didn't play that, we would have just blocked with Bone Crusher. Okay, Reshaper. So we've got good blocks here. Opponents put Ugin on top, of course. Okay, Fire Ice. Has to be Jace, I think. So we'll Jace, we'll uptick, put the Ugin on the bottom. And then pass the turn. If my opponent attacks, we're still double blocking the Smasher. Uh-oh. Looks like they've drawn a walking ballista. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, main deck Chalice and Khan, the Great Critter. I think this matchup's probably quite difficult. But let's see how we go. So we'll bring in Blood Moon. And we'll bring in the Force of Vigors. What don't we want? So Bone Crusher isn't amazing here. Subtlety is probably fine. This is probably fine. We're on the play. Let's maybe be greedy and cut one Caverns on the play. We need one more cut. I think it's one of these spells. Oh, Jace isn't amazing, I guess. We'll cut one Jace. Yeah, Fire Ice has been really good this league. Really fun card to play with. I keep forgetting that the tap mode has draw a card stapled to it, which is pretty good. Yeah, we're going to keep this. This hand's pretty good. It's got lots of ways of interacting with a Chalice of the Void. It's got a turn 3 Violent Outburst. Okay, so we'll just play the Tarn here and pass, and then we can go and get the Triome. There's a tower and a map. Don't think we're too interested in forcing that. We could always, actually, yeah, we'll probably go ahead and do the same as we did last time, which is just ice the tower in my opponent's. Because we want to draw cards as well. Let's draw a land. Oh, that's among the worst draws in my deck. Wouldn't mind our opponent going Chalice here. Do we Force of Vigor now is the question. I think we are going to. Because we don't need these Footfalls. Oh, we really wanted a land there. I think now, do we want... Yeah, let's just suspend one. That's really unfortunate. Maybe we shouldn't have cut a land, but I like to think it, you know, it doesn't make too much difference. Okay, our opponent has got... Are we going to force this? They haven't got much Tron. Yeah, I think we are going to force this. We'll get rid of a Shardless Agent. Just keep the Violent Outburst. Okay. So what land really? Oh, we just can't catch a break in this this match. Fetch land now is good. Obviously Blood Moon very good against our opponent. This Reality Smasher. Yeah. So we could Brazen Borrow it, but we have to discard a card. I think we're just going to yeah, hope to draw a land. We've been fairly unlucky not to draw any so far. Ugh. Okay, we're gonna have to borrow that now. We can't afford to keep taking hits from this Smasher. Okay, there's a map. There's another smasher. Yeah, double smasher's pretty good. So let's get rid of one of these. We'll get rid of... Yeah, I think we'll get rid of a Blood Moon here. We ideally just want to make so many rhinos that we can just block the smasher. We haven't exactly got the the best lands out for a Blood Moon. Really need a land now. Oh, we're just dead. Oh, that's a shame. Annoying to be 3-0, and then I think we would have had a real chance in that if we'd have drawn lands. We had a lot of draws at it. We had that was turn 6, we were on the play, so what's that, 5 draws plus a Fire Ice draw? 6 draws at a land in a 23 land deck. I think we were more likely to hit that than not. Well, yeah, certainly. Okay, well, that happens in Magic sometimes, so we'll see you again for the next round. Okay. So what do we think of this hand? It is a 4-lander, but it's got some good sort of tempo-y style cards in. We're on the draw. I don't think this is quite good enough on the draw. This is better. We will keep this. We'll bottom the Cryptic. These 2 lands don't cast Cryptic, so we will be, we'll suspend Footfalls turn 1. Then suspend Footfalls turn 1, and then hopefully these cards will be good. So our opponent, it could be the Mirror Misty Rainforest. Okay, Living End. So not the Mirror, but both on the same sort of thing. Violent Outburst is an amazing draw there. So we're going to want to use this Fire Ice, I think. Okay, opponent's cycling main. They do have another land. Okay, we'll just play out the island here, I think. And then in our opponent's upkeep, we're going to tap their breeding pool. They'll probably just use it to cycle a creature. But we don't really want them blinking first. We don't really want them going off first. Although, I think we will do it. The thing we're afraid of is us going Violent Outburst and then our opponent going Living End. But there's not much in the graveyard yet. Okay, so they cycle. So we've got some endurances in the sideboard for this. Blood Moon might be good as well. Okay, so yeah, we're going to ice the red or the green. I think we'll ice the red. I would imagine we'll see a... no, we don't see a cycling response. So it might be worth us, don't know, when's this coming off? This is a long time coming. This won't be coming off until turn 5. Okay, Shardless Agent. I feel like, well, we know our opponent runs Force of Negation. I think we're going to go for Violent Outburst. I could see an argument for Shardlessing, because then if it resolves, we can Violent Outburst to give our rhinos +1/+1. Grief. Okay. So I think, yeah, we're going to go for... trouble is, if we go for Violent Outburst here, then my opponent casts Living End. Yeah, I think we have to go for it, though. Or if they have Force of Negation, that's also pretty bad. Yeah, our opponent's going to take the Shardless Agent. Maybe we should have kept that. Although, the thing is, my opponent, if they have Living End, they're going to bring Grief back anyway. By having Living End, I obviously mean a Cascade spell. They run, I think, the same ones that we do. I mean, we are putting them under quite a lot of pressure. We've got a couple of points of burn in hand. Yeah, opponent does have it, so they get to Living End us here, and they'll take our Bone Crusher Giant. We sacrifice our Rhinos. We get a blocker though. Opponent gets to sandbag our spells as well. So I'd imagine... okay, we've got a Force. So I think we're going to fetch just... I mean, like I say, my opponent doesn't know what we've got coming. Play an island. Pass the turn. We can't actually block any. Well, we can block the Riverwinder just as a chump. Our Footfalls are coming in next turn. Yeah, we'll just take as little damage as possible. Go to 7. Okay, so we'll cycle our Triome. Okay, we find a Violent Outburst. Wouldn't mind drawing a blue card here. Yeah, that'll do. And then in my opponent's upkeep, we're going to Violent Outburst again. Sure. Oh, yeah, that's... because it's got flying. Yeah, so my opponent's got 7 power exactly in the air. Oh, but we can... Okay, so in my opponent's upkeep, we're gonna try and tap their Windcaller. Because we have to. So ice this. Then we'll hold up. Oh, another ice is pretty good. So what would we tap now? We'll tap this. Then my opponent hasn't got any great attacks then. Or we could tap this. That's got hexproof, so we can't tap this. We could kill Grief. We could wait for my opponent to attack. And then next turn, if we find... because this shoots my opponent for 2, potentially. I think we're going to tap something, because if my opponent attacks all, we block here and here. We take 6. So what are we going to tap? This is in the air. Yeah, we'll tap the subtlety as well. Maybe this is wrong, maybe we should be holding up, but hopefully we'll find a blue card for force, that wouldn't be too bad. Fire Ice is so cool. Yeah. Okay, we find another force, that's not actually too bad. Ugh, grief, okay, so that's probably my opponent's draw step. Probably takes, okay, they take a force. So I would imagine my opponent has some sort of spell they want to cast here. I mean, my opponent could have another violent outburst, meaning we don't quite die. But we would go to 1, I think, if we block. Yeah, assuming my opponent has violent outburst. If we know they have violent outburst, we have to block here and here. But then, I mean, we lose our Rhino anyway, here and here. We get smacked for 4, go to 3. I don't think we can play around that. I don't actually know how we're going to be able to win this one, especially since our opponent knows our hand. Okay, so we kind of have to block this. I think we'll get the Riverwinder off the field. If our opponent has violent outbursts, we've pretty much lost anyway. Yeah, they do have it, but I don't think there was any way we were getting out of that, sadly. Yeah, things like that. I feel like you have to kind of make them have it. You know, play to kind of the small percentage chance that we had. Right, so we want both endurances, and I think we're going to go Blood Moons potentially. We might want the disputes. We don't want subtleties. Brazen Borrow is fine. We want all the forces. Bone Crusher doesn't really do anything. Yeah, I think we'll cut the Bone Crushers for more disputes. Is Anger of the Gods of any interest to us? Potentially. That's all fine. Cryptic's probably fine. Jace probably a bit slow. We are all in on the Rhinos is the trouble if we do this, but I think that's fine. Let's give this a go. We certainly would like to play first. Yeah, we'll keep this. It's got some good spells in. Go get the Triome first, I think. Got a redraw with ice again. I mean, they may have grief, which is obviously really good against us. Probably looking for it here. Can't force grief. So we're going to be looking for a third land at some point. Okay, Blood Moon does make me wish we'd fetched a basic there.
I think we're going to ice this. Should have done it in my opponent's upkeep. I went a fraction too far. Okay, we draw basic island, which is a basic, but we need forest, really. Ugh, grief, yeah, sure. So I'd imagine my opponent takes the outburst here. What do they get rid of? Street Wraith. They could take force. But yeah, we want to find basic forest ideally. If we find basic forest, we'll probably Blood Moon, unless they take Blood Moon. Okay, our opponent takes Violent Outburst and then plays a Misty Rainforest, so the Blood Moon plan is probably not where we're going to end up here. Okay, we find another Violent Outburst, which is pretty nice. The curse of Thoughtseize effects being felt by our opponent there. Will they get a basic? Does my opponent play a basic forest? To get an island. Okay. So yeah, at the end of our opponent's turn, we'll Violent Outburst. And then just hold up counter magic forever, hopefully. Sure. So what's the other card my opponent plays that has Cascade is Shardless Agent as well. So actually, if we untap here, if my opponent doesn't play like a fetch land, we could Blood Moon them and then just beat them to death with our rhinos, and then hold up counter magic forever. Especially if our opponent misses a land. Or plays a non-basic potentially. Cycling Street Wraith. Okay, Botanical Sanctum. So yeah, we'll go ahead and Violent Outburst here. Cast that. And then I think we may Blood Moon our opponent. Okay, Scalding Tarn's actually a good draw. Because now we can hold up Mystical Dispute as well. So yeah, we're gonna Blood Moon them. Let's go for it. Let's get an island. Cast Blood Moon. So we do cut ourselves off of green mana here, but here now, I mean, we're just going to try and beat them to death with these rhinos. We can hold up Force. We can hold up Mystical Dispute. I think that's correct. I mean, we could have held up for Hardcast Force and Dispute, but yeah, I think making it so our opponent can't, you know, it makes it harder for my opponent to cycle and stuff as well. So yeah, I think that was the right play there. Okay, so I think we're happy to just run that back. Let's see if we can get the 4-1. Deck seems really sweet. I'm enjoying playing it. It's yeah, it's really tempo, which I like. I quite like tempo decks. Just getting these rhinos down that you can't deal with and protecting them. That's what we're about. Okay, so what do we think of it? Yeah, this hand, well, We're in trouble to a grief, but I think we're going to keep this. We're going to put Gemstone Caverns onto the field, which enables us to essentially go first. Our opponent has mulliganed. We've got a force, which we can potentially hold up in my opponent's turn 3. Okay, so we'll put Gemstone Caverns in, and we will get rid of, I think, a fetch land. Don't think we're going to want to be forcing anything turn 1. Okay, so we'll probably keep the Triome. Yeah, we'll keep the Triome because now that we've drawn loads of lands, we probably want to be able to cycle it. We'd like to find a blue card, really. So we could get an island here, make it look as if we've got, thinking about Blood Moon, I think we will. More lands is not what we want. I don't think we can go for it here, because we would then lose to, well, I mean, don't know if that's right. You know, we go for that, and then the trouble is my opponent can then just living end, get rid of our rhinos, and we can't really recover. If our opponent passes, we can't really fetch either. We could fetch, but then we'd have to pitch Shardless Agent to force of negation. Maybe our opponent's wondering whether to or not to go for it as well. They are going for it. So they've cast Living End, so we're going to force this. Do we just go and get another island is the question. I think so. Yeah, in case we want a Blood Moon and Cryptic later. So they have a Shardless Agent. Okay, so we're just going to go for this. We've drawn no actual spells, which is obviously very annoying. If our opponent has another Living End, or Cascader even, we're in a lot of trouble. Yeah, it could have been a trap, that one, I suppose. Maybe we were meant to let that one resolve. Opponent gets a Curator of Mysteries and Architect of Will. But, yeah. So opponent's going to put three things onto the battlefield. We really could have done with drawing some actual spells here. Sadly, yeah, we started out with, I mean, yeah, keeping a 5-lander maybe wasn't the way to go. Yeah, Anger of the Gods doesn't do it here. Essentially we need our Cascader. It's got flying though, which is rather irritating. Let's get Stomping Ground. Okay, Anger of the Gods. I think we do go ahead and cast that. It kills these two things. It does slow down the clock. We'll play this. There you go. Unfortunately, we're taking 7 damage. Cryptics and Brazen Borrowers are really good now. Well, Violent Outburst isn't too bad either. I mean, our opponent probably does have I'm so used to this being unblockable because of the decks I play. Okay, so Violent Outburst. I usually play Swamp, so Street Wraith is usually unblockable. Opponent probably drawn a Force by now. Yeah. So we'll go and grab another island, I guess. Cycle a Triome. Another Violent Outburst. Not enough to save us. Unless we draw exactly Brazen Borrower. So yeah, if we draw Brazen Borrower or Fire Ice, that allows us to live for a turn. Okay, so we're going to tap our opponent's team in upkeep. We could return this, but I don't think that's what we want to do. If they draw another Force, yeah, okay, sure. We started drawing hot there, but by then it was, yeah, sadly too late. We just get got by Living End. Shame, sad way to end a 3-0 start, but really fun deck. Really enjoyed playing it. Hopefully play it a little bit more. Just finishing it off in paper as well. So excited to test a bit more with it. But yeah, this is the Miko GK was who got the challenge done on at the weekend. So yeah, go and check out their list. I'll put it in the description below. Hope everyone enjoyed that, and please do consider subscribing. If you see any sort of mid-rangey decks going, please do let me know. And yeah, we'll hope to see you next time. Cheers.